Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. I wanted to talk to you about this video. As you can see right behind me, these people, they gathered together, I believe December 17th to December 19th, so 3 days they gathered together to discuss, to talk about their religion, which is okay. If you want to do that, that's not a problem. It's your country, you're right. What they did though is that they gathered and they decided to heat up the rhetoric against the Muslims. That is something not acceptable. Now, what I want to tell you is that personally, I don't care. These people, emasculated people, Hindutva, whatever they call it, try to show some courage. Try to gather up some courage to say few words against the Muslims, believing that this will prove to the rest of the world that Hindutva and especially these emasculated people are very, very strong and powerful. When in reality, again, as I said, I don't care. These people are nothing. These people are nothing. They are nothing. They are really nothing. They are just making some noise and they will dissipate very soon. Trust me. But here is the thing. If we do not talk about this particular incident, by the way, if you're not living in Canada, sorry, in India, if you do not know what is happening, India, okay, India has a lot of Muslims. I believe more Muslim than Pakistan or Bangladesh. It's a huge, it has a huge Muslim population. So if you're not in India, you should know this. If you're from Malaysia, Canada, Australia, you should know that there are a lot of Muslim brothers and sisters in India. This is why we need to talk about this. This is why it is so important. You may think, well, why should I care about India and the Muslims? There are two reasons. Number one, they are your brothers and sisters, and number two, they have a huge Muslim population. Nevertheless, going back to my main point, these people, they gathered together and they said few words, few things about the Muslims, harsh rhetoric, and we see that coming all the time against the Muslim brothers and sisters. So if we ignore them, thinking, well, these people don't matter, as I said, to me they don't, but if we ignore them and continuously do that, then it might reach to a point where some of these people, they will take action. And even if they harm one person, that we will be equally responsible for not raising our voice. Okay, we need to be raising our voice. We need to talk about this. So what this gathering was about, I want to play the video so that you can hear yourself. This is in Hindi. I will, the person who made this video, the reporter, they translated that in English very well. But if you are not sure, I'm going to be helping you understand better.
मुसलमानों को मारने के लिए तलवार की आवश्यकता नहीं होगी।
शस्त्र कम से कम 1 लाख रुपए वाला तुम्हारे पास होना चाहिए।
मैं मनमोहन सिंह के छाती में
कि रक्षा बिना शस्त्रों के नहीं होती है।
मैं एक विशेष रूप से देख रहा हूँ कि संविधान बनवा के लाया हूँ।
Okay, so basically what they're saying, and the first guy, he said that you need to have 1 lakh rupee for a weapon against the Muslim. You can afford to have 5,000 rupee for your iPhone, but you need 1 lakh rupee, means you need a lot more money. Spend more money in weapon, buy weapons to use it against who? The Muslims. Then the next person, he said, let me actually play the video. Actually, the reporter will explain.
Video clips from a 3-day Dharm Sansad in Haridwar are being shared on the internet, in which religious leaders can be heard making provocative remarks, even calling people to pick up arms to protect their religion. The Dharm Sansad.
Another thing that they mentioned, quite interestingly, they use the word sword, okay? Talwar. In Hindi, aap bolte hai talwar, right? Kya bolte hai aap? In Bangla, I think we say talwar in Hindi, but in English it's sword. So the person, he said, we need to use something else. The sword is not going to do the job. Talwar is not going to do the job. We need something else, something, that will be used to, qatl the Muslim. And basically that's what he meant. He did not like the idea of using talwar. The reason it is interesting he used the word talwar is because he knows that in the past the Muslims used to use sword and spears and whatnot. But subhanallah, this is something I wanted to talk to you about in light of the coming of the Mahdi, end of time. So let's talk about that, because I think it is very, very important since we talk about the end of time, fitna. before the coming of the Mahdi, Rasulullah SAW, he prophesied this kind of situation will arise. And dear brothers and sisters, believe it or not, we need to be prepared at the same time. Like these people are preparing from their own ideas. Like they're suspecting that a time will come, or the time has come, when we need to actually get rid of the Muslims from India. Okay, that's what they're saying, and this is coming from their own mind, from the wasa of shaitan. But we have prophecies of Rasulullah SAW that things will get tough for the believers. The Prophet SAW said, when things will get tough, stick to your religion. Take minimum from this world. Do not compete. Also, go to a place where your religion will not be affected. Okay, yafirru fitna minal fitna, yafirru biddini minal fitna. Rasulullah said that run away from the fitna for your deen, for your religion. He did not say take up sword or buy a nice weapon. He did not say that. Subhanallah. Still they call our religion as a bad religion. When you have a living example, it happened only a few days ago, where people are actually asking for something worse, something they want to use against the Muslim in order to get rid of the Muslim. Let's take a listen. I will explain more inshallah, because then I want to talk more about the coming of the Mahdi, end of time fitan, but we want to listen a little bit more.
It took place from 17th to 19th December. A large number of Mahamandaleshwar Mahants and Pithadeshwars from all over the country had gathered at the meet.
Wow.
In this clip, explicit calls were given for Hindus to pick up arms against Muslims. Yati Narsingh Hanand said swords won't be enough to kill Muslims.
कि मुसलमानों को मारने के लिए तलवार की आवश्यकता नहीं होगी,
Look this.
क्योंकि अब तलवार से आपसे वो मरेंगे भी नहीं.
Look at this guy. He's saying
तलवार से नहीं मरने वाले हैं वो.
He said
आपको टेक्निक में उनसे बहुत आगे जाना होगा. वो बहुत अच्छे हथियार लिए हुए बैठे हैं.
Swami Sagar Sindhu Maharaj from Roorkee appealed to Hindus to at least keep swords and asked them to purchase weapons of at least ₹1 lakh.
मैं बार-बार कहता हूँ,
Look what this idiot is saying.
मोबाइल 5,000 वाला भी चल जाएगा.
Yeah, you can buy mobile for
लेकिन
$5,000.
शस्त्र कम से कम 1 लाख रुपए वाला तुम्हारे पास होना
$1
चाहिए.
lakh for your weapon.
A highly objectionable speech
Okay.
was delivered by Swami Dharamdas Maharaj
so-
from Patna, who said, "If I had a gun, I would have become Nathuram Godse and I would have shot Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh inside the parliament."
Okay, so obviously they are crossing all the lines. They are crossing all the boundaries. They are not only talking about the Muslims, but obviously looks like they're talking about their own Prime Minister, Manmohan Singh. Okay, if you do not know him, he's a Prime Minister of India. In other words, these people are going to go after anybody and everybody in order to cleanse the Indian soil from the Muslims. Okay, this is what he's saying. And also those people who will be supporting the Muslims. Dear brothers and sisters, I said in the past, things are going to get worse. This is a call. This is a call towards that. And this call is not something that is not paired or being followed up by taking action. We have seen what happened in Tripura. Muslims there are facing a lot of difficulties, challenges. Their masjids are being, vandalized and burned. So this rhetoric, it is not empty. Some people somewhere in India, as I speak to you right now, is doing something against the Muslims, against the believers. And the reason for that is only because he is a Muslim. No other reason. It is not because he doesn't love India more than the Hindus, but because of his belief. We are seeing right now, if you are in India and you are a Muslim, you cannot support a team that is Muslim. For example, Pakistan, they cannot support Indian Muslim, they cannot support Pakistani cricket team. Because if they do, then they will be in big trouble. In fact, they have arrested. So the situation is right now getting far, far worse than we have expected. And how this is all happening, it is because they're getting support. The unfortunate thing though, fortunate, unfortunate, I do not know, but one of the people who spoke in this gathering that I showed you, he is a convert to Hinduism. Rasulullah said, a time will come when people will be believer in the morning and they will be disbeliever in the afternoon. This is nothing surprising. When you see a Muslim converting to Hinduism, becoming a mushrik, you should not be surprised. Rather, you should know the hadiths, the prophecies these are all true. When the Mahdi is here, dear brothers and sisters, as I said, India and the Muslims and the Hindus, all of them will be conquered by the Mahdi, but that will happen at the very end of his reign. Again, subjective, from my research, my study, this is what I understand. The Mahdi will conquer Jerusalem, Constantinople, the rest of the world, Baitul Maqdis, and then the Muslims will conquer the Indian, the subcontinent. It also would include Sri Lanka. The point here is that the victory for the Muslims, dear brothers and sisters, it is coming. Wallahi, the victory is coming for the Muslims in India, for the Muslims in Kashmir, in Palestine, everywhere. It is just now a matter of time. And when we see this kind of rhetoric, we need to ask this question to ourselves. Are we going to be remaining silent, or should we create some awareness? Because if we are completely ignoring it and thinking this is a one-off blip and that nothing will happen, then dear brothers and sisters, we will be responsible equally, just like this Hindutva, whatever they call it. I mean, sometimes the names are so complicated. But subhanallah, this is something I want to share with you. New here, consider subscribing. See you in the next video. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.